Temple men's basketball continues to struggle in conference play as the Owls drop two close games to Wichita State and Cincinnati.
Plus, the men's soccer team kicks off the season down in sunny Florida with an instant classic. OwlSports Update is live and it starts right now.
Welcome back to Studio 3 for another edition of OwlSports Update. Alongside Dom Gillespie, I'm Jackson Neal.
It feels great to be back in the studio, but even better is to get all of you Owl fans the coverage you deserve with a brand new anchor duo. We'll start this one down in Kansas, where the men's basketball team was trying to avoid dropping 3 games in a row. Game came down to the wire, but the Shockers pulled this one out in the end. Damian Dunn led all scorers with 22 points, at a perfect 12 for 12 from the stripe for him. Jeremiah Williams and Jake Forrester both contributed with 11 points each. Williams left it all on the floor as the freshman played 35 out of the 40 minutes in this one. Tyson Etienne netted 20 points on 4 from 8 from behind the arc. Morris Udiz was able to grab 7 boards on the day, add his 11 points on the game, helped propel the Shockers to victory. Wichita State as a team shot over 40% from behind the three-point line, and Temple shot an abysmal 15%. So the fact that this game was as close as 3 points in the end is a small positive takeaway. The Owls welcome Cincinnati Bearcats into town for its first matchup of the season. First half action here. Micah Adams-Woods drives in and lobs it for Keith Williams. That's 2 of his 15 points off the bench. Other side of the floor here, Caleb Battle, great court vision, finds Jeremiah Williams. Bingo, he went 2 for 3 from beyond the arc in this one, but throughout the entire game, Cincy had the answer. Here's David DeJulius from 3. The Bearcats go on a 17-4 run to end the half and take an 8-point lead into the break. Here's some second half action here. Battle says, give me that, and he'll start the break, and he will find who else than Jeremiah Williams again. Coming down the stretch now, Temple with a sloppy turnover. DeJulius gets the ball all by himself and lays it in for the easiest 2 out of his game-high 26 on the night. Cincy makes 1 of 2 from the line, and Caleb Battle gets a chance to tie the game, but from half court, that one is no good. Cincy hangs on. 63-60 is the final.
We got a lot to look at, a lot to learn from, a lot to tighten up on, a lot of stuff to just correct and just screws to tighten up. It's mainly on me being the point guard. I had a couple of silly mistakes, so just watching film, looking at what we could have did better.
What's been plaguing us throughout the year is we had some turnovers where we had opportunities to expand that lead, and when you turn it over and those guys go down and they're making plays, and now that puts you in a tougher situation.
The Owls had to postpone their game against the Pirates until further notice, but the Owls still have 2 games on tap in the coming days. Temple will travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats on Friday, and 4 days later on Tuesday, they will travel to Oklahoma to take on Tulsa in hopes of sweeping the season series.
Now, over to the women's side of things, where the Owls took on Houston Cougars at Pearson and McGonigal. It was an important matchup for Temple as the 2 teams came into the game just a game separated in the AAC standings. The scoring got started early for Houston as Brittany Onyeji nails a corner 3. It was one of her 5 triples on the day. The Owls tried to keep it close as Mia Davis gets the friendly roll on this foul line jumper, but Houston continues to pull away. Layla Blair takes Davis one-on-one and jab steps into a fadeaway that gave her 2 of her 18 points. The scoring would continue for the Cougars. Good ball movement around the arc leads to an open 3 for Diamond Gladney. Houston held a 20-point lead at halftime, and even as Davis continues to put up points in the paint, the Owls could not stop the Cougars. Here's Tatiana Hill blowing by her defender to get the easy bucket at the rim. This game is Temple's worst conference loss of the season so far, with Houston winning 89-52. While Temple didn't have much success Wednesday, the Owls had a better showing last weekend when they beat Wichita State 65-57. Multiple players had big games for Temple as Mia Davis, Asona Alexander, and Jaisha Clinton all scored in double figures. For the Shockers, Mariah McColby led the team in scoring with 18 points, while Asia Strong recorded a double-double.
For most ball players, the love of the game continues well after their playing days end. That is especially the case with Khadijah Bowens. Whether it's giving back to the community, investing in the youth, or helping families in need, Khadijah has changed the lives of countless individuals, including her own. OwlSports Update's Emily Cochran has more.
There are many different ways to describe Khadijah Bowens, but strength and perseverance are a good place to start.
But I'm forever grateful for my journey, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be right now.
The former Temple basketball guard has never taken the easy road growing up on Broad Street. Now, Bowens is taking her life experiences and using them to help others. And it all started with her time playing for Coach Dawn Staley in 2001.
She just has a hold of what life is supposed to be. It's giving back.
And it all started post-Temple when the North Philly native began holding charity basketball events for two main reasons. One, to bring awareness to breast cancer, and second, to honor her brother who was tragically murdered in 2006.
I use basketball as a way in because I know Philly culture, basketball, I know they coming.
That impact centers on these basketball events one time a year that include as many as 100 local boys and girls. The money raised goes to local organizations and sometimes specific families in need.
I understand where some of these kids come from. And I look at them and they don't realize I need them just as much as they need me.
The breast cancer awareness game led Bowens to create the Khadijah Bowens program, an after-school program for kids. However, this was put on hold due to yet another obstacle she must now overcome. This past August, Bowens was diagnosed with a rare form of ovarian cancer. Like all her struggles, she shared this part of her journey, hoping it will inspire others.
And I'll go through every single thing again. If I know that I can save a life in the process, absolutely, I'm gonna do it again.
Bowens plans on holding more charity events soon. She says that her journey has always been bigger than basketball, but basketball has been her roadmap, helping her find courage during hard times, while also helping others through theirs. Reporting for OwlSports Update, I'm Emily Cochran.
Great stuff, Emily. A really touching piece. If you want to hear more on the lives touched by Khadijah Bowens, check out Emily's entire 5-minute profile, which we will post on our Twitter handle after today's show. Great first block of coverage, but we're up against our first break.
Coming up, we'll bring you highlights from the AAC Cross Country Championships, where both the men's and women's sides for Temple finished in the top 4. Plus, we'll hear from head coach James Snyder. OwlSports Update will be back in exactly 90 seconds. Welcome back to OwlSports Update. We go out to Wichita, Kansas, where the Temple men's and women's cross-country teams competed in the snow at the AAC Championships. It was the men's second time out in the Jayhawk State this year after they finished third in the JK Gold Classic in Augusta, Kansas in January. And same state, same results. The Owls came in third out of 10 teams. Christian Jensen led Temple with his 8th overall finish, earning him all-conference honors. Then, on the women's side, Michelle Boyce and freshman Leia Kerberu both were named to the all-conference squad as they finished 8th and 10th overall. With this honor, Joyce became the first woman in program history to be named to 3 straight all-conference teams. Back to the guys, it's worth noting that 3 of Temple's top 5 finishers were freshmen.
With the way we competed, I think that, again, we're always looking to be moving forward, not moving backwards. And certainly considering the circumstances, again, being third as a group with, 3 of the top 5 being true freshmen was something that was solid. The freshman guys that sort of made up the rest of the top 5 did a good job of finding one another, and in the first 8K of their lives, did a pretty good job competing through the duration of the race.
But I think we did what we came to do, and that's definitely something to work on for the younger guys over the next couple of years.
The men's soccer team kicked off its season down in sunny Florida against the USF Bulls. The weather was a nice change of pace, but not as much as playing an actual game for the first time since, get this, November 13th of 2019. That is 15 months for all my math people out there. Don't forget to carry that 1. We'll pick this one up in the first half. USF jumped out to an early 1-0 lead, but Jalen Campbell did not let them have it for long. He finds the back of the net in the 30th minute for one of his 2 goals on the day. Temple threatening now. Esteban Suarez, a known friend of the show, gets great control of the ball and lets this one fly. A simply magnificent strike in for Amir Cohen, and I'm sure number 18 liked that one. Just a good strike with his right foot. That's his first goal of the season, and the Owls take a 2-1 lead before half. 20 minutes to go in the game. Jalen Campbell will net another one. That one good enough to earn him AAC Offensive Player of the Week, and that is also the difference. The Owls win this one in regulation by a score of 3-2.
Temple's next game is going to be its home opener against the University of Central Florida this Saturday, and snow is expected in the forecast. While that may catch the Golden Knights off guard, the Owls know all too well what it takes to play in the cold. OwlSports Update's Lindsay Moppert has more from the men's and women's teams.
There's snow on the ground. It's the coldest time of the year. And yet, the Temple men's and women's soccer teams are officially back in action at the Temple Sports Complex.
In low 20 wind chills, a 30-degree day kind of feels like a spring a spring awakening.
Out of the 12 teams in the AAC, 5 see snow in the winter, and Temple is the farthest northern school in the conference.
All the schools that are in the warmth, I think when they come to play us, hopefully we'll have an advantage because we've been playing in this for a while. And then when we go to play them, we'll be able to play in the warmth a little bit. So I feel like it might be a little win-win for us.
Although these extreme weather changes have affected both teams and their seasons, it's certainly not all bad. I can tell you one thing. You definitely can't build a snowman on Temple's campus in September. The average temperature right now in Philadelphia is in the low 40s, but hot, cold. Temple, like everyone else, is excited for the season to start.
I think that, we're just blessed to be there in the field and having the opportunity to play.
Both teams will face the UCF Knights in a conference game this weekend. The men Saturday night and the women Sunday afternoon at the likely very chilly Temple Sports Complex. Reporting for OwlSports Update, I'm Lindsay Moppert.
Thanks, Lindsay. The Owls still have 4 more games left in February, so it'll be some time until it warms up for the Owls.
But we're all warmed up here in the studio as we get set for another timeout. On the other side, we'll talk about some gridiron honors for some former Owls. You won't want to miss it. We'll be back in 90 seconds. Welcome back to OwlSports Update. We're talking some gymnastics here. This past meet, the Owls competed against 2 top 10 teams, number 5 Oklahoma and number 8 Denver. Even against some of the stiffest competition, the Owls were able to post their best score of the season, 194.85. But as mentioned, even the team's best score of the year could not get them the win against 2 of the best teams in the nation. Brooke Donna-Bedian put up the team high on the beam and the floor, and the Owls put up their best scores of this season on the beam and their second highest on the vault and the floor. The squad's next meet will take place on February 14th at Pitt.
The tough start shouldn't be a huge surprise for the 0-5 Owls. The competitive East Atlantic Gymnast League is one of the best in the country. OwlSports Update's Thomas Nemec has more.
The honeymoon didn't last very long. A new conference, and it's been a challenging start for Temple's gymnastics team as it's competing in the East Atlantic Gymnastics League for the very first time.
I think being in the ECAC, it's kind of a lower a lower conference, I guess. And so now being against higher ranked teams, it makes us more noticed.
Temple has lost to all of their opponents, creating an 0-6 start. Although the Owls are winless, they have lost by an average of less than a point. So they are competing enough to give Coach Josh Nilsson something his team can work off of.
Well, something that Josh always says is that if everyone improves just 1/10, that it's 2 points better. So we're all just, again, focusing on the small details of improving just 1/10 every day.
I think a lot of it more now is mental than anything else. So I think once everybody, like I said before, gets more confident and knows that they themselves can hit their routines and knows that their teammates can hit them too, then we're going to be right where we need to be.
And the Owls are starting to improve meet by meet, as this weekend they posted their best score of the entire season of 194.58 in a tri-meet versus number 5 ranked Oklahoma and number 8 ranked Denver. The Owls had 5 team members that posted their best scores of the entire season, and they have positive momentum to build off going into the EAGL Championships mid-March. This is Tom Nemec, OwlSports Update.
While gymnastics has had a slow start, volleyball has been the exact opposite. Since beginning 3 weeks ago, all they've done is win. Victories over Morgan State, UConn, and Coppin State have given them a 3-0 start, and the Owls looked to stay undefeated when St. John's came to Philly this past Saturday. The Red Storm may have entered the match coming off a win in their season opener, but it was Temple that got off to an early start. Here, Mary Bolakbasi records one of her 14 kills on the day. Later, It's Jem Grimshaw who gets in on the action. She had her first double-double of the season with 10 kills and 10 digs. Then, on defense, freshman Taylor Davenport makes her presence felt with this resounding block. Temple's offense would continue to dominate as junior captain Tyler Lindgren guided the attack. She ended the match with 37 assists, which is a big reason why she was named AAC Player of the Week for the first time in her career. Temple would end up winning this one 3-0, as the Owls have yet to lose a set in the month of February.
Switching gears to some football here, some congratulations are in order. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are your Super Bowl 55 champions, but more importantly, there are plenty of former Owls who helped them get to this point. Head coach Bruce Arians and defensive coordinator Todd Bowles are just a few of the names that used to wear cherry and white. Arians got his first head coaching job on North Broad when he was 29, and Bowles played defensive back for Temple back in the mid-'80s. Those are two of the 8 Owls who now have more Super Bowl rings than the average Joe. Temple football yet again making a name for itself at the highest level. Maybe next up, Matt Rhule will win one in the coming years.
Well, Arians did go from a losing record last season to a Super Bowl win this season, so it happens. And that will do it for this edition of OwlSports Update.
But the coverage does not stop there. Stay tuned to our Twitter for a new episode of Courts in Session this Friday with Sage Hurley and Josh Safran. Stay tuned to our Twitter for live updates on games and all things Temple Athletics. That's at OwlSports Update. For Jackson Neal and everyone in Studio 3, I'm Dom Gillespie. See you next Thursday for another edition of OwlSports Update.